Hello everyone and welcome to Victoria's action figure Cantina. Today we're having a look at the Hasbro Marvel Legends Infinite Series, Captain America the Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Here's a look at the packaging. So this packaging is quite strange. I like the way it looks. It definitely looks quite nice. But you basically have to open it from the sides and then pull out a cardboard insert that's on the inside, unfold that, and then you can pull out the plastic tray with the figure. It takes quite a bit of work. If it were more like the Star Wars Black Series 6-inch, I think that would have been a little bit better. But you know, as it stands, it's okay. It's definitely different. Now this Black Widow figure is something that's been missing from the 6-inch line for some time. I know a lot of us were really hoping it would be part of the Walmart exclusive Avengers 6-inch series, but it wasn't meant to be at that point in time. Luckily, Hasbro has gone back and finally given us the Black Widow figure that we were hoping for at that point in time. And you know, maybe it's a good thing that they waited because, you know, who knows? It's possible that the figure we may have gotten at that point in time would not have been as nice as this one turned out to be. Now, this figure has been darn near impossible to find. I have to give a special thanks in this video to my friend Chris, who made it possible for me to obtain this figure and review it for you. Otherwise, I wouldn't be sitting here reviewing it right now. So, thank you, Chris. Give you a close-up here of the figure itself. The likeness is pretty good. I definitely see Scarlett Johansson in the sculpt. Now, it's not perfect, but, you know, it is nice. They did a commendable job, I would say. Her outfit is also very nice. She's got like a zipper going down her front side. Sculpt work on her body is quite nice. If anything, maybe her arms and legs are a bit skinny, a bit lanky looking, but, you know, it's pretty good. I think they did a good job on her costume for sure. I like the belt and then the straps, and then there's a strap right there on either side of her waist, and a couple more straps and buckles right there. And these pistols are actually attached to her hip. Doesn't seem like there's any way to get them off. It looks like they're you know, they're just going to stay there. You know, which is unfortunate. I mean, it looks good, but you know, it would have been cool if they would have come off. Kind of like the Mattel Batman Unlimited Arkham Origins Deathstroke from last year, which had a pistol that basically just pegged into his leg like that. The rest of the costume's nice. She's got some nice looking boots with a wedged heel, and the backside is also quite nice. She's very shapely, for sure. And then she's got her shield insignia there on her shoulders. Her hands they're gloved, and the look of the figure, of course, is based off the Captain America the Winter Soldier. But what's especially awesome about this figure is that Hasbro, in all their infinite wisdom, gave us the Avengers-specific head with the appropriate hairstyle. So that is way awesome. In order to attach that, you simply pull off her head, and then you attach the Avengers head on there. And there you go. I actually like this head a little bit better. I like the facial expression on this one. It looks a little bit more like Scarlett Johansson, I think, to me. Just a little bit, but yeah, I definitely like this. The sculpt and, you know, the paintwork to her head and to her face and her head. It's really nicely done. The hair is... it's got maybe a little bit of a wash to it. There's some darkness in here to kind of highlight the different strands of hair, and you know, her eyes look really nice. They did a good job painting her eyes, I would say. Now, also included with Black Widow are two hands right here. That way you can change them out. And this is a nice touch. As you can see, the hand that she has on there is a kind of a gripped hand, whereas the left hand is just an open hand. These hands are basically the opposite of that. You have a right open hand and then a left gripping hand. So to replace the hand, what you're going to want to do is simply twist her hand. It's a little bit hard to get off, but it works. And then you reattach the other hand, and do this gently. You don't want to break her hands. In the way of articulation, of course, Black Widow, aka Natasha Romanoff, has a ball jointed head. She has ball joints here at the shoulders. She has ball joints at the elbows. She has her swivel wrists, which of course can be removed. She has a ball hinge here at the torso. She does not have a swivel at the waist. She has hinges at the hips. They don't really go back. Her rear end kind of prevents that from happening, but you get a good amount of forward and even sideward movement. Even if it causes that to kind of bend, it's still a good amount of movement. And then you get a double bend here at the knee, and you get rocker joints for her ankles. So she's very nicely articulated. You definitely get a lot of articulation in here. Now, it is a mixed bag. Like on a lot of figures, while articulation can be very awesome, very nice, it gives us the opportunity to pose the figure in a bunch of different ways. It's also quite restrictive in many cases, because on Black Widow, and I find the primary offender to be her rocker ankles, it makes it very hard for her to stand. She's very difficult to pose. I mean, as it is, she already has those wedged heels, which in and of themselves would make it a little difficult to get her to stand. But then she has all this articulation. She's got, I want to mention, she also has cuts right there at the top of the hips. She's got the hinged knees, the cuts up here, the hinged hips, and then the rockers at the ankles, which, kind of make it a perfect storm for it to be pretty difficult for her to stand. And I find and again, the main thing here I think is the rocker ankles. They're nice, but unfortunately it makes it really hard for her to stand. And probably more than anything else, that's my biggest gripe about this figure, is she's just way hard to stand. And sometimes it seems like you got to kind of pose her a little bit weird in order to get her to do that. The only other accessory you get for Black Widow is this rifle looking thing. Don't really know what it is. I haven't seen Captain America 2 yet, but it seems like it's some kind of a blaster rifle maybe, or something. It's an okay looking thing. It's kind of strange how it's like just hollow down there at the bottom. I suppose you're not really supposed to look at that part of it, but as long as you hold it like this and place it in her hand, she holds it all right. She holds it quite well. But again, getting her to stand while holding this thing is quite a challenge, because now it makes her pretty heavy at the front. So you kind of have to just find a way to kind of just got to play with it until you can find the right balance. But no, it's not a bad accessory. It's it works. She can hold it and stand holding it. She looks good holding it. So the only other thing you're going to get is if you can have the option to do the Build-A-Figure and make Mandroid. This is the torso for that figure. It's got a hinge there for articulation, and articulation there at the what would be the hips. So I'm probably not going to be able to finish this, but it's cool. This is a huge piece for a Build-A-Figure, so that's pretty cool. So I mentioned earlier how the pistols are sculpted there into her hip, or at least they're super glued somehow in there. There's no getting them out. What I think is lacking with this figure is maybe another weapon or two. It is nice that they included this thing, but it's a little large. If they would have included a pistol, maybe something like this, you know, that she could just hold without much trouble. You know, I think that looks pretty great. I actually took that pistol from my Mattel Movie Masters Dark Knight Commissioner Gordon, and it works quite well. She holds it really well. So, you know, if they would have included maybe 1 or 2 pistols like that, I think that definitely would have been a worthwhile inclusion. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. This is the Hasbro Marvel Legends Infinite Series. Captain America, the Winter Soldier, Black Widow. Again, it's awesome to finally have a Natasha Romanoff figure that we can include with the rest of our Avengers. You know, I'm excited to, you know, maybe set up a shelf or something where I can put her with the rest of the Avengers. As it stands, she's a really nice figure. The sculpt, I think, is really great. The detail, the paintwork, the accessories are nice. The swappable head is awesome. The interchangeable hands, not something that I thought were really necessary, but, you know, it's cool that they included them. The Build-A-Figure accessory, you know, quite cool. But, you know, my biggest qualm with her is the fact that she is very, very hard to stand. And, you know, it's all because of these, you know, wonderful rocker joints there at the ankles. I think this is a case where if after the knee it was just a solid leg with no articulation at the ankles, you know, it would have been a better figure. You know, it would have been way easier to stand her without that articulation. The only other thing I would add again is those pistols don't come off. If they would have included a couple of pistols for her to carry as well, you know, that would have been awesome. But you know, other than that, she's a great figure, and it's awesome to finally have Black Widow in my collection. So if you're a fan of the Avengers, Black Widow, you know, this is certainly one that you're going to want to have. Thanks for watching Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye-bye.